What's going on, guys? I'm Brandon with Everyman Elevated. Today, I want to tell you why I like cigars. You know, I've had people ask me, why do you like cigars that much? And if you don't get what I'm saying, if you're not like into cigars, it becomes like a part of your lifestyle if you really get into cigars. It's just such a work of art, the cigar itself, you know. From seed to finished product, it's going to go through over 300 people. Each one of them are doing their due diligence. They are putting their best into this product. They see it as like a work of art, and you'll hear that a lot, not just from me. You know, other cigar channels will even say, like, when you go to put out a cigar, do not stamp it. Not only does it leave a bad smell, but it's a work of art. If you spent, you know, however long just creating one cigar, and you know, you gave it to somebody, you want them to smoke it, and they got a little bit through it, and they were like, all right, let's stomp the fuck out of it. Like, be a little bit disrespectful in my opinion. But nah, I'm not going to say to each their own. I'm going to say, do not do that. Treat it with some dignity, some respect. Don't stamp out a cigar. Before I get too sidetracked, I'm going to show you what I'm smoking. Got a Perdomo Lot 23. Very beautiful wrapper. A great price. I got this for $7. I believe they average almost $10 anywhere I've looked online. It's a great aroma also. A lot of people will say there's no reason to smell a stick because, like, you're not going to get anything from it, which that is pretty true. Even if they are a little bit different, you know, each cigar does smell a little bit different. You're not going to be able to be like, yeah, that's from the Dominican Republic and that's Nicaraguan whatever. You're not going to be able to know that just from the smell. But although that may be true, I do enjoy smelling cigars. I don't know why. It's just, even the funky smelling ones, you know, I appreciate them for what they are. They all bring something different. And I just want to experience cigars on, you know, different levels, any way possible. You know, each cigar is unique. The taste, the smell, the construction, even down to the draw. So I'm going to cut the cigar, get it lit up, and get this video going. I gotta say, right off first draw, kind of an oily smoke, but it's smooth. Normally I don't like oily smoke feel, but this isn't really super oily. It's more smooth. But yeah, basically, why do I like cigars? I mean, why does anybody like fine wine or, you know, different types of art, going to art museums for specific pieces, or even different types of bourbons? A lot of different things have a finer side to them. You know, tobacco, you have cigarettes, and then you have cigars. So you have your casual painters, and then you have the crazy stuff. I really don't know how to convey that thought when it comes to artwork. Alcohol, you know, you have home brewers, and then you have crazy, like, 20-year age cognacs or fine wines from 80 years ago. Cigars might not be on the same level as that in terms of like how old the cigar is going to be. Now, there is cigars that you can find that are very old, but those are more for like collecting them, especially once you get past a certain amount of years. It's not going to burn or taste right. What I'm trying to convey is there is beauty in different things, you know. And I think the beauty of the tobacco world is cigars. Like I said, the amount of time, the amount of people that this is going to go through until it becomes a finished cigar, like sold in a store. Over 300 people, from the crop to cutting it down, hanging it, curing it, rolling it, you know, having it finished. And I like to think about that when I'm enjoying each and every different cigar. I like to actually look at a cigar because, like, how they got it to look so good, I'm not sure if it's going to focus. This is a very beautiful cigar for being $7. I mean, I'm not much into the flavor yet, but off looks alone, like, if I was new to cigars and this was like a $15 stick, I would say that looked pretty good. Honestly, The wrapper construction, like, looks great. Better than a lot of more expensive cigars I've seen. One of my favorite things about cigars is the tasting notes. A lot of people, well, some people that enjoy cigars are going to say, you know, it's either a good cigar or it's not. Notes are bullshit. I don't agree. I'm sorry, I don't. And there's other people that agree with me. For example, Holt Cigars. I don't know if it was Maz or Foch. I'm sorry. But one of them was, actually both of them were talking about it, but one of them said, if you think there's no tasting notes in cigars, you're full of shit. Because, you know, when you taste wine, what does it taste like? What, wine, grapes? Yeah, it does. That's the main note. But like in tobacco, does it taste like tobacco? Yeah, it tastes like tobacco. But different blends, different wrappers, different fillers. You're going to have different flavors, even down to how the smoke feels. It could be oily, super smooth. I said this was kind of oily. For some reason, it's not at all now. It's very, very smooth. For example, this Maduro is probably going to bring some chocolate notes. Even though I did my research on this cigar, and yes, chocolate/cocoa is in the notes, I know that the wrapper that is on here provides that kind of taste. So even if this was a different cigar, but it had the same wrapper, it might still provide that same kind of note. And you know, if you were to smoke something like Perdomo Champagne 10th Anniversary, which I'll put that on screen somewhere, it's going to give you more of a, you know, like a honey graham cracker kind of sweetness. A much, much smoother smoke than this. You're going to get some nutty notes, not because it's Connecticut, but just because it's an entirely different cigar with different binders and fillers and a different wrapper. And that's another reason I enjoy cigars. So many different things go into a cigar. It's very hard to make two cigars exactly the same. Man, something else. Pairing drinks with a proper cigar, you can't beat it. As I pointed out earlier, I do have a scotch over here. I might have called it a bourbon, but it's technically a scotch. I really do not drink. This was probably one of my worst purchases in the past couple years of my life. I haven't drank in about 2 to 3 years. And I bought this because I wanted to, you know, not actually get a buzz from it, but to like get it on my palate, taste the notes from the bourbon, because I know scotch, sorry. I want to taste the notes of these different drinks, you know, what they offer. They're not all going to taste the same if you get it on your palate and you actually acclimate to it, get used to it, search for the notes. But what's so beautiful about pairing a drink with a cigar, it doesn't have to be alcohol. I want to give a shout out to Creekside. One of their main pairings is coffee. If you ever make your way to Creekside Lounge in Mainville, Ohio, which is pretty close to Cincinnati, like 10-15 minutes, one of their best offerings, besides their boutique amazing cigar humidor, is their espresso. And I'm telling you, I paired their espresso with a Crux Epicure Maduro. Heaven. Dude, that was the best pairing of my life. But let's say coffee isn't your thing, alcohol isn't your thing. What do you pair with it? Well, that's the beauty of it. If you're in the Creekside Discord, you might not be, but any kind of cigar Discord, they talk about different pairings sometimes. This is one of my favorite pairings with different cigars. Just a good old Dr. Pepper Cherry. It brings out like different nuances. I don't understand how, but you know, it's still great just to pair a different drink with your cigars. You know, change up your drinks every once in a while, change up your cigars, and you'll find that different drinks bring out different notes. Anyway, I think I'm just going to make one more point as to why I like cigars, and then I'll start working on my other video, which is a full review of this cigar, by the way. But my last point is the community. When I tell you that the most hospitality I've ever experienced was a cigar lounge, I'm not lying. Now, with the content on my channel, you might think I'm a shill for Creekside. Not true at all. I don't get paid by them. They really don't even know me like that. That they've met me like a handful of times. I just genuinely love Creekside. And it's my favorite place to go when I'm not at home. The hospitality is just, it's too high. The moment you find somewhere to sit down, they are bringing you a water and asking if you need anything. you know, a coffee, a different beverage. Like, it's just great. And every spot that you sit at in there, I guarantee you it is spotless. As soon as somebody leaves that table, the moment they step out the door and they know that they're not coming back in, it's cleaned in a matter of a minute. And, you know, that's just a bonus to their amazing humidor. Like I said, it's a boutique humidor. Great selection, you know, stuff that you're not going to get at your local brick and mortar. After you pick out, you know, a great stick from their humidor, you're just going to be in for a good time with amazing vibes and great hospitality. And really, the point I'm trying to convey is not leave where you're at and come to Creekside. I'm saying if you're wanting to get into cigars, definitely get into the community. Don't just do it for yourself. And the reason I say that is because the community is so awesome. It's welcoming. I'm telling you, if there's a cigar lounge near you, chances are they're not going to be like dickheads. They're going to be welcoming. They're going to be having a good time. I hope the points that I picked out kind of made sense on why I enjoy cigars so much. I can try to do a part 2 maybe if you like this video. Yeah, thanks for watching. Every man elevated.